Tonight we want to talk to some of the people who knew him best here at Fox, starting with his friend of many years, Brit Hume, who joins us tonight. Brit, people loved Charles Krauthammer, even people who disagreed with him. What was it about him that they were responding to?
Well, it was a rare combination, Tucker, in the sense that he had this extraordinary intellect, one that all of us sort of admired, and none of us realized, none of us thought we could ever come close to equaling. He was literally in a class by himself. He was one of a kind. And on top of that, he had, for all of the sharpness of his thought and writing and sometimes his language on television, he was extraordinarily kind and gentle. And the combination made you love him. And we did. All of us did. The audience did. You couldn't help it. And you know, you think of what we're doing here tonight, Tucker. We're all feeling sad and sorry, but look, we've been on the air now since 6 o'clock when this news broke, and we're talking about this one subject. And you know, you might say, well, that's because you know he was on Fox and he was our guy. Yeah, that's true. No. But he was a giant of our time and of our trade, and he carried it out to the highest standards. He wrote beautifully. He was careful about his facts. He thought things through, and he conducted himself with extraordinary dignity and grace, and we could all see it and could only aspire to it.
No bitterness, pure humanity. His instincts were so relentlessly decent. I don't think I knew anyone who disliked him.
Now, I know people who, disagreed with him, and they were sometimes annoyed or offended by, the sharpness with which he wrote. People who, for example, were not as sympathetic to Israel as Charles unfailingly was.
Right.
But on a personal level, and if you ever saw him or watched him, you couldn't dislike him. You couldn't help but admire him, because even if you disagreed with him, you recognized the power of his thought, the thoroughness of his research, and the quality of his writing. And the combination was strong. And, of course, if you knew him personally, there was that wonderful quality that he had, that kindness, that gentleness, that grace. And, of course, if you knew what he'd been through and you could see what he'd overcome and you saw the way he handled all that, it made him, you admired him as you probably didn't admire anyone else. I can't think of anyone on earth that I admired more than I admired Charles Krauthammer, and I admire him to this day.
You speak for so many when you say that. Brit Hume, thank you. Another truly great and sincere man. Thanks.